Once, there was a king renowned for his magical powers from East Java, known as Prabu Aji Pramosa. The king was resolute and refused to concede to anyone, even kings from other realms. Within his domain resided a formidable sage named Resi Kano. Acclaimed for his magical abilities and wisdom, possessing a noble character that endeared him to many. Aware of this, Prabu Aji Pramosa was aggrieved by the existence of a rival with comparable powers. He perceived the sage as a threat to his authority. The king's mind was perpetually troubled, haunted by the fear that Resi Kano might usurp his power. Prabu Aji Pramosa contemplated methods to eliminate the sage. One day, a meeting convened in the palace under the pretext of safeguarding the kingdom.
Esteemed officers and advisors, thank you for attending this meeting. Today I need to convey something significant. Are you aware that our nation is currently under threat?
The attendants were taken aback and puzzled by the king's proclamation.
Your Majesty, with utmost respect, what do you mean by your words? I find myself perplexed.
I understand your confusion. However, this predicament has existed for some time. I have been awaiting the opportune moment to disclose it.
Your Majesty, what kind of peril endangers our nation?
Pay close attention. The source of this danger is not immediately visible. However, its potential repercussions are truly alarming. That danger is Resi Kano. While he may appear virtuous and honorable to many, his actions and intentions threaten to undermine our nation. Therefore, he must be expelled from our territory. If necessary, he must be eradicated from existence.
Following the king's command, silence enveloped the assembly as they grappled with disbelief.
Do you wish to witness your families and homes destroyed by that sage? What is it?
The king's words compelled the officials to agree on the expulsion of Resi Kano, at which point they began devising a plan for his elimination. Meanwhile, Prabu Aji Pramosa felt a sense of satisfaction, pleased that the advisors had succumbed to his manipulation and confident that his desires would soon materialize.
Teacher, there's something important I must convey. It is troubling.
Calm yourself. What is it that you wish to express?
It is dire news, teacher.
What news is so urgent that it brings you here in such haste?
I have heard that the palace intends to expel you from this country.
Expel me? What grounds has the king for such a decision? Have I committed a grave error?
Not only does he wish to expel you, but it seems he also seeks to eliminate you entirely.
Stunned by this revelation, the sage contemplated what missteps could have provoked such hostility from the palace.
Perhaps our only option is to flee, teacher. That is the only reasonable course of action, as Prabu Aji Pramosa does not take such matters lightly.
Then let us depart.
No, teacher. I will remain here to confront them.
Very well, take care of yourself. Follow me to the south as soon as possible.
Your Majesty, I request your indulgence.
What?
I have critical information to report. Forgive me, Your Majesty. I have received word that Resi Kano has fled our kingdom.
Outrageous. How could this occur?
I am uncertain, Your Majesty.
I care not for your uncertainty. Pursue that traitor. Capture him for departing without my consent.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Word of Resi Kano's departure quickly reached Prabu Aji Pramosa. The king's fury escalated, alarmed that his carefully crafted plan was unraveling. With a resolute heart, Resi Kano resolved to leave the kingdom, filled with resentment towards the king's greed and cruelty. Prabu Aji Pramosa's forces proceeded to search for Resi Kano, but found only the sage's student, as the sage had already evaded capture. Infuriated, the king unleashed his anger upon the student, yet the student defiantly stood his ground. After subduing the sage's student, the king resumed his search. Rasikano departed from the Kadiri kingdom with feelings of sorrow, animosity, and a desire for revenge against Aji Pramosa. He transformed into various animals to evade detection. The sage journeyed to the southern coast of Java Island, traversing dense foliage, climbing mountains, and navigating through wilderness. Until he reached the vicinity of Silica. There, he selected a secluded location, challenging for others to access. He then engaged in meditation, seeking divine justice for his plight. Meanwhile, Prabhu's group encountered multiple obstacles during their quest. However, through the king's persistence, he eventually discovered the sage's hermitage. Concealing himself, he observed from a distance with his guards.
Look over there, the sage is in deep meditation. Surround him, don't let him escape this time. I will end him myself.
The guards nodded in understanding. As King Aji Pramosa slowly approached Rezikano's location. As soon as the king was close to the sage, he struck Rezikano from behind. However, something extraordinary happened. The sage's body vanished in an instant. Shortly after, a rumbling sound echoed, and a fierce wind swept through, sending chills down the spines of King Aji Pramosa and his guards. However, the king managed to withstand the chaotic scene thanks to his powerful spells and mystical abilities. Once the situation had calmed, a massive dragon suddenly appeared, hissing as if ready to devour the king. The dragon's ferocity caused the ocean waves to swell, rolling in like a massive storm. Towering waves crashed onto the shore, and many sea creatures, including turtles, were swept ashore around Silicap Bay. This is why the bay is now known as Turtle Bay. King Aji Pramosa was astonished by these events. The dragon clearly resented the king's presence and continued to rage, forcing the royal party to scatter in search of safety. Seeing the chaos, the king readied his bow and, with all his might, released an arrow aimed directly at the dragon's belly. The powerful blow struck its target, and the dragon died instantly, its body drifting away in the waves of the southern sea. Soon afterward, a beautiful princess appeared from the east, crossing over from the other side of the island. She called out to the king.
King Aji Pramosa, know that I am Dewi Wasawati. I was placed here under a curse by the Almighty. Thanks to your deed, I have regained my human form. In gratitude, I offer you a cutting of the Wijayakusuma blossom. This is not something that can be found in the ordinary world. Whoever possesses this blossom will establish a line of powerful rulers on the land of Java. Please accept this gift of mine.
Hearing the princess's words, King Aji Pramosa's heart filled with joy, and he felt a surge of excitement. Using his sacred incantations, he summoned all his strength to cross the ocean and reach Dewi Wasawati, eager to receive the Wijayakusuma cutting. Upon reaching her, the king presented himself before Dewi Wasawati.
Rise, O king. It is unworthy for one who has saved me to bow before me.
Thank you, Dewi. It is truly an honor to meet you.
King, you bear witness to this. Know that these mountains and cliffs stand apart from the island of Java. I shall name this rocky isle Nusa, meaning island. Since here I am gifting you the Wijayakusuma blossom, I shall add Kembangan to its name. One day I hope that people will call this island Nusakambangan.
Thank you, Your Highness. Very well, this island shall be known by that name.
Once the Dewi had handed the Wijayakusuma cutting to the king, she vanished. King Aji Pramosa was overjoyed and satisfied, envisioning himself and his descendants as future rulers over Java. Eagerly, he leapt onto a nearby rock and began paddling back to his kingdom. But along the way, he grew nervous and somewhat careless, and without his realizing it, the Wijaya Kusuma cutting slipped from his grasp and was swallowed by the waves. The king only realized his loss when he reached the shore. Shocked and disheartened, he was filled with sorrow at his inability to bring the Wijaya Kusuma cutting back home. Ultimately, he returned to Kadiri, empty-handed. As time passed, rumors began to spread of a mysterious tree growing atop the rocky island of Nusakambangan. King Aji Pramosa, curious about the reports, decided to investigate. Without delay, he and his guards set off toward Nusakambangan. Upon arrival, the king was astonished to see the legendary tree. It was none other than the Wijaya Kusuma blossom he had once received from Dewi Wasawati. The tree's leaves shimmered in the sunlight, smooth like velvet, and the blossoms themselves sparkled. The king was filled with regret as he recalled his lost dream. But what could be done? The past could not be changed. The king realized that everything had been decreed by the Almighty. He finally returned to his palace, followed by his loyal companions. From then on, the island became known as Nusakambangan,